Welcome, councillors, staff. Thank you. Call the meeting open. Warren Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands within Warren Shire and acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who reside within this shire. Thank you. So I'll call please for apologies and applications for leave of absence by councillors.
Councillor Whiteley, Councillor Brewer, Councillor Certady and Councillor Kinsey.
Thank you. Got Councillor McCloskey over there to come move. Someone to second. Councillor McKay, thank you very much. We're moving on to confirmation of the minutes from the ordinary meeting held on Thursday, 25th of June. Somebody to move and second, if I may. Councillor McKay, Councillor Houston, Councillor McKay. Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Carried. Disclosures of interest.
No, we'll see.
No disclosures of interest. Thank you. So moving on then to the mayoral minute, which has been tabled. So I will move that. If I could have some second, Councillor McCloskey. Thank you very much for being so helpful. So firstly, I guess relating to the mayor, I did speak with him for the first time since he's been away this morning. I think he's thinking that he's going to be missing out on things today, so he will be covering the live stream. He wanted to ensure everybody that he's alive and improving each day, so hopefully he'll be back on deck soon. So to the list of items in the report, the first of which being the Parliamentary Committee inquiry on New South Wales Government Service Delivery Survey for Alliance of Western Councils and the presentation by Chair. I will ask the General Manager please to comment on that.
Thanks, Madam Deputy Mayor. The Alliance of Western Councils is using the Executive Officer of the Far North West Joint Organisation for executive services nowadays, and it started the show already. Big survey to all of us where we actually, to help the chair of the Alliance of Western Councils do a presentation to the committee that Legislative Council committee that was over in Dubbo. What Councillor Neil eventually presented covered a fair amount of survey information that we provided to him, but just as a bit of a summary. So what it was, is the current service delivery model of state government to the Western region actually working? And really, the gaps and the significant gaps, what all of us are seeing is really unequal service outcomes compared to if you're in short-term and fragmented delivery, and outsourcing seems to be masked by masking local service gaps, and really the state government is lacking visibility and accountability in the Western region. That's pretty well the summary. I think that's pretty close of what we said as well.
Thank you, General Manager. So next on the list we have the Central West Sub-Regional Health Committee. So this is a new committee. I'm not sure we have much more to say on this at this point, except to say thank you to Councillor Certady, who has volunteered to nominate for that committee. We also have another local committee member being Paul Smith. So I think it's good to have some more people on that committee. It wasn't something that we were asked to do necessarily, but Councillor Certady expressed an interest and was accepted onto that committee. I don't know if we have much further on that. No, thank you. But again, thank you, Councillor Certady, and also to Paul Smith for representing our community on that committee. The Marrifield Day attendance. Again, thank you to Councillor Certady, Houston, McKay and Brewer who were in attendance on that day. I wonder if Councillor McKay or Councillor Houston might wish to make any comments.
I'll go first. Councillor Houston, and you can provide a summary afterwards. We drove down with a trailer full of goodies that had been well and truly prepared by I'm going to say Jody, but I'm sure he had some helpers, so that was fantastic. Got there, set up our tables and our goodie bags, and pretty much didn't receive a complaint the whole time we were there. I think the feedback from participants was very friendly, very positive. But to put that in context, it was lots of green grass around. Lamb and sheep prices were the highest they've been for a long time. So people were in a pretty good mood, and it was a really, really good day. So lots of people there, great community out there, a very good vibe that was going on there. They had lots of exhibitors from out of town, Riverina, South Australia, places like that. So all in all, it was a really good day. Councillor Certitude probably manned the desk more than us, and was quite critical of the networking that Councillor Houston and I were doing out there. But she did bring a feedback sheet back, Jody, which I'm sure she's given to you. So all in all, it was a good day.
Thank you, Councillor
I'll
McKay.
probably just add that the comments we received were constructive rather than. There was a few things that came up which I thought was good. I think it was really important we were there. I'd never been before, and it was a brilliant day. It was really good. Everyone was upbeat. I think they were happy to see us there as well. We were happy to be there and eat bacon, eggs, rolls, and sausage sandwiches. So eat nice cake. But it was such a positive day. Really, really good day.
Excellent. Thank you again. Moving through then, so the next items are, I'll do these together, the New South Wales Electoral Commission disclosure for political donations and electoral expenditure. So those are coming up with their due dates listed here. I can assure you that the online system is very easy to navigate, but for those who prefer paper, that is still an option as well, which Councillor McCloskey can attest to. So please just be mindful of those due dates, because there are fines if those due dates aren't met.
Madam Mayor, councillors, please talk to the Executive Assistant. We had a bit of a discussion with the Electoral Commission yesterday, and the Executive Assistant has offered to help because it's easy. It well and truly is easy to do electronically, and as soon as you're in the system, you actually cannot make mistakes, and your information comes up. And if you only got one form to fill in, the one form comes up as an example.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So next, the Warrenshire Council's Macquarie Water Security Project Business Case Options Report Response. I will again hand over to the General Manager, who's got paperwork here in front of
you. Councillor Wass is part of the project team that's attempting to provide information to the water group of the DQ. We've provided our initial response to the acting Deputy Secretary of the Water Group of DQ. We are pretty close to having a meeting, a sit-down meeting with their experts and that particular Executive Director of DQ in early September, where we've got a couple of consultants who are doing some work for us and with us to further explain the model that we're attempting to get them to understand and to progress instead of nothing happening at all. Look, it's too complicated to talk about it at the moment, but that group with a couple of very expert locals and a couple of consultants will hopefully do some very good work over the next month or so in preparation for our meeting in Dubbo that the Mayor and myself, Councillor Wass and several others are going to participate in.
Thank you. Councillor Wass, did you wish to make any comment? Thank you for your assistance with this, sir. Okay, so moving on, the Warren Shire Council and Transport for New South Wales catch-up meeting on transport matters. That was on the 25th of June. General Manager.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Look, several items spoken to with the Executive Director and Director of Transport for New South Wales who look after us and our area. Just a real quick list. Again, reminding that the roundabouts in the roundabout should be replaced and fixed up. Everything else is done. Gunnybar Creek Rail Bridge replacement and rail line maintenance we brought up again, and we reminded that part of the organisation that we actually are doing some good work on the RMCC and whether we should be considered for some RMCC work on the Mitchell Highway as well. Reminding of there's still plenty more work on the State Highway 11 Oxley Highway in both reseals and heavy patching and some reconstruction work. We put in a HML assessment, an application to make sure HML people can use the Shire Road 91 industrial access road without doing an application, and reminder that it's the two intersections that the NHVR are actually waiting for, which is an assessment by Transport for New South Wales to do and get that finished. Again, we asked for support in relation to the Shire Road 23 Gradually Lane Causeway flood damage restoration work that hasn't been approved yet. And if that doesn't happen, some support for a grant from someone somewhere to do the same thing. Again, support and help in relation to some sort of improvement work on the truck rest area out on the intersection with Martha Guy Road and Oxley Highway. State Highway 7, Mitchell Highway and State Highway 11 and Shire Road 58, Nabatai Bogan Road intersection for some improvement works there, particularly ready for wheat seasons, etc. And support for the Nabatai rest area, the one in Nabatai. So far, we will continue to keep trying to apply for Commonwealth grants. We've not been knocked back once, but we think it's still a pretty good project to keep going. We need their support because in the end, we think that the 20% should be coming from the state government since it's a rest area on the Mitchell Highway.
Thank you, General Manager. Moving on then to the Warren Long Daycare Incorporated. So, if you recall, we did pass a recommendation at the last council meeting to negotiate with that committee on what assistance council might be able to provide. So, it was determined to make a donation upfront of $60,000. That has been made. The opening date now set for this coming Monday, 27th of July. So that's all very positive. Further to that, we have at this stage agreed to offer a loan of $60,000 after 3 months of operation. So ideally demonstrating some financial progress and stability. And again, another loan of $60,000, with again 6 months. The terms of which are still to be refined, but again, that would be where we can see progress and some sort of financial stability beginning to take place. So hopefully that is with some councillors, but I think it was important, as we discussed at the last meeting, to do what we could to ensure that service can open and continue to operate within our community. Is there any questions or comments on that?
Just
Thank you.
through the chair, the 27th of July, is that an extended opening date?
Thank you, Councillor Cleesby. The original date they were hoping for was the 20th of July, but that was a very, very tight time frame. So they did extend the opening by another week. And all that I can say on that is that staff were happy to wait for that extra week, and staff have been involved this week in getting the service ready to open the doors on Monday. So yes, I believe all the appropriate communication was made to families. Enrolments are looking good, and the staff are on board. So extended by 1 week, but at this stage, all good to open on Monday. Thank you, Councillor McKay.
The representation of council on the committee, is there any intention to have somebody with not necessarily on the committee, but that has access to information from the committee to understand the financial position?
Yeah.
Number one, and the second one was: has there been any support from any other community organisations that you're aware of or you can speak of?
The last point, not that we are on this point, but there are a number of grant applications pending and upcoming as well. So hopefully some of that works out. In terms of membership or participation in the committee, we're not looking to do that at this stage, but that will be part of the conditions of the loan that council will need to see, financial documents, and also with the donation, we have asked to have some evidence of how that money is being spent. So yes, again, that's to be refined and worked into a memorandum of agreement or understanding with that committee. So certainly they have been very, I guess, upfront in saying that they would be happy to share all of their information with us to ensure that we're happy to offer the assistance that we're offering. I'm not sure if the divisional manager would like to say anything further on that. Working through the conditions at this point, but
yeah, thank you. At this stage, whilst it hasn't been finalised, I think we conveyed initially that council had the intent to gain access to information and be assured that there was essentially some capacity to repay future borrowings should that occur. Given that the business didn't exist, one item by way of example would be that we get not just financial reporting that they offer, but access to their financial system, get a trial balance, that sort of thing, to keep an eye on how they're tracking and compare that to the budget item that they've put in place, looking at cash flows, and a lot of it really depends on other funds that they're successful or unsuccessful in receiving ultimately.
thank you. Hopefully that's, sorry, Councillor Jackson.
Thank you. I just wondered, and this might have already been known by other people, not me, in addition to the financial side of things, the premises, the purpose-built premises that I assume they'll be operating out of, that they don't own, has council cited some undertaking from the landlord about continuation of use, and if not, is council aware of options that they could run their service out of should that relationship break down?
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. I'm not sure how much we can comment on that. That was definitely spoken about. And again, the committee has given an undertaking to share progress and information with council.
There have been conversations on the side to make sure that the promises had been made, and we were confident that that the relationship was a good quality relationship and the promises would be fulfilled on both sides.
Thank you. Great, well put. Any further questions or comments on that? No? Onwards and upwards. The New South Wales Attorney General, the Honourable Michael Daly MP, was here in Warren yesterday. So that wasn't a organised visit. That was actually proposed by Rory Butler's team. So Rory Butler was here in town as well. So we met over at the Youth Foundation building. Also in attendance were the Warren Youth Foundation board members, Fleur Stubbs from Bernardo's, Superintendent Chin and Inspector Bevan from the place. So the idea of the visit was to tour the Youth Foundation facilities, and we did also have a sit-down discussion with all of those in attendance about local issues and juvenile crime. So I guess for a bit of context, the Attorney General has recently been, in the last couple of days, in Brewarrina. You might have seen that the Premier has also visited Brewarrina recently, and there's been a bit of attention around the site of Yetta Dinakal, which was originally opened as a minimum security prison. It's located between Brewarrina and Coolabah on quite a large parcel of land, and there is quite a large amount of infrastructure at that site, where there is an idea to set up some diversionary programs for young offenders. In doing that, that would need to be mandated, so that's where the Attorney General comes in to actually make a law to make that available to judges to mandate that people who young people who commit offences could be sent to such a theatre to participate compulsorily in programs and learn some skills and provide another option for dealing with those cases. That's all very much down the track, but I guess that was a bigger ticket idea that I think definitely has some merit. There was a lot of discussion around the activities of the Youth Foundation. So Kelly Sinclair did an amazing job in speaking about their activities and also what they need moving forward. So yes, I think Roy Butler's team did a good job to facilitate that meeting, and the Attorney General was there to listen. So we met for a bit over an hour. It was very worthwhile. Not sure if there's much more to elaborate on at this point, but again, it was a really great opportunity to have the Attorney General here in Warren, and thank you to Roy Butler and his team for facilitating that. Questions, comments? Thank you very much. Last on this list is the Macquarie Cudgegong Regulated Water Sharing Plan targeted consultation meeting on the 16th of July. I was not in attendance, so I might ask if the General Manager might like to speak to that.
So, Madam Deputy Mayor, Councillor Wass and myself were attended with the Mayor by teams and a couple of others in our same project team as the other matter above. In the end, just a minor submission, we'll go back saying pretty well summarising, and Councillor Wass will help me. If it's a 10-year plan, leave it alone for 10 years. Don't change it, because everyone is pretty well sick and tired of changes. Let's stay with the same rules so everyone can work under the same rules and know what they're doing. And you know, everyone is also very, very sick and tired of political changes just before the plans get enacted, where other people have much more access than the actual people who seriously need to use water.
Thank you, General Manager. Councillor Wass, did you have some comments?
Mayor, I mean, this is about the rollover of the sharing plan for this time next year, consultation program that's going to go on for, over the next but there are certainly people who want access to water to the detriment of others. You know, there are a number of, you know, for example, Ningen want more water for to flush their town facilities. There are other people who want greater connectivity of this river system to the Murray-Darling, to the Darling, which is a difficult process. Trade and management of water within, you know, they're all things that effectively restrict the access by current licence holders. So it's as the general manager pointed out, I think we need to resist those and to try and keep the water sharing plan as is.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. So that brings us to the end of the mayoral minutes. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. So moving on then to the meeting of UMR held on Monday, 13th of July. Councillor Cleasby, thank you. Somebody for second. Councillor McCluskey, thank you. Councillor Cleasby.
Thank you. Through the chair. Yeah, it was quite a short meeting. The progress report on the green waste, not the green waste, sorry, curbside. Just an update on that and artwork and what they're doing. I see there's a water leak that needs to be fixed. Maybe it's stopping certain councils from getting a wood chip pile, but other than that, it was a very, very good meeting. Thank you.
Councillor McCluskey.
Just did that. The third word of that action checklist. Check for the purported portal. Purported.
Yeah, well, it might not be. It might be just a pile of water. But I had to explain that once upon a time was a house there, so there might be some left.
Just to prove I read it.
Who writes some of the words?
Anything further on the UMR Waste Depot Committee? And seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Meeting of Mannix held on Tuesday, the 14th of July. If I can have somebody second. Houston, thank you. Councillor Cleasby, thank you. Councillor Houston.
Just move.
And just to clarify, there is a recommendation regarding proposed budget variations and adjustments.
We haven't moved that they be accepted. The recommendations be accepted.
Thank you. So to that point, there are quite a number of adjustments listed there in the recommendation. Are there any questions? Yep, maybe perhaps we could go through those then.
Leading up to, leading up to the preparation for 26-27, there are a number of items that were still going. The bottom dot point is a grant that we've received, so that's just using the system to actually get it properly into the estimates. Same with the Heartline Reconnected. The $100,000 grant was only just approved, and we didn't have confirmation that the $31,018 grant for the New South Wales Rugby World Cup Legacy Program had been approved. Now it has been, and that needs a $15,000 contribution from infrastructure projects money, and the Warren Rugby Club is contributing $5,000 to it. And what that really does is make sure it gets it into their estimates, and then the Divisional Manager of Concentration Services puts it into our quarterly review in September. They're three projects, most of them grant funded, that are now organised.
Thank you, General Manager. Anything further on the minutes? Thank you, Councillor Eustace.
Madam Vice Mayor. Could somebody just talk about what the money's going to be used here for this Rugby World Cup legacy program?
Thank you. General Manager.
Replacing the electric showers and facilities with gas over at the Warren Sporting and Cultural Centre. And then hopefully that will take away and improve the power over there is then after that, if it doesn't happen, it's probably not going to be able to run a new big air conditioning system that we're hoping that we may get a very much larger grant for, but we're crossing fingers. The town services manager is still investigating that with the Warren Sporting and Cultural Centre a manager, but we're hoping that may progress in the future as well. But it was always going to be turned into a gas because of the amount of power that's actually being used by those hot water systems and showers.
Thank you, General Manager. Councillor
Question
McCloskey.
with regard to that and the gas. So will that make the water system or the hot water system instantaneous and unlimited? You won't run out of hot water because it's constantly heated by gas?
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair. That's correct. So it'll be, I think we're removing 4 large storage units, electric storage units, and replacing them with 3 instantaneous gas. And there'll be an additional large gas bottle installed to run those units.
Thank you. Anything further? That's been moved and seconded. In favour? Thank you. Harry?
Who seconded that, Councillor
Please.
Please. Thank you.
Thank you. So, meeting of the Water and Sewerage Committee held on Wednesday, 15th of July. Thank you, Councillor. Please be you're up. Councillor Kelly, thank you.
Through the chair, once again, very quick meeting due to a meeting followed of the choice. I have maybe our town services manager might give any information on this one.
Thank you, Councillor. Please be.
If
Through you, Madam Chair. So are you referring to item 3, the business arising? So we had the Western Council Alliance, the Alliance of Western Council for Water, has received a grant of $450,000 to allow for an asset management maturing investigation of the 13 alliance councils plus 2 additional. I think it was Narromine.
No, more in
That's it, more in Narrabri. So that will be, I'll put together this report looking at the maturity of all of assets, etc. That will then go back to DQ as part of the report that was put together by the Productivity Commission to assist in the decision-making process as to what happens with water authorities, local water authorities in Western New South Wales. So at the moment, we run the water authority within individual councils, but we work as an alliance amongst the 13 Western councils. They have several proposals as to whether that is acceptable, whether there needs to be some tweaking of the alliance process with more oversight, whether it needs to go to something like a full joint JO, such as Central West JO, which will require a full chairman and secretary, so a fair bit of expenditure. And I think the other option is potentially being taken over by the government. I think there was another option just off the top of my head. That was it, I think.
Probably stay as is with our own alliance committee doing.
Yeah, well, and that's the preferred option that the committee has put forward to the government, is to retain the alliance with the 13 councils, with a little bit of extra, just changing some of the rules and procedures so that there's a little bit more oversight rather than just the general manager council that oversights it now.
So, Madam Deputy Mayor,
Thank you.
the most interesting part of today was the IWCM presentation that was very pleasing, that the whole committee, councillors and staff were able to go through their draft findings report and tweak bits of information so consultants from Sydney who aren't on the ground had a full understanding and able to change things to make sure the direction was correct. You want to have a go at just trying to explain?
Okay, so I'm just trying to remember some of the. It was quite a big afternoon.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Good session.
So we had the lead project manager from Public Works Authority, Kafil, came out and physically presented to the committee. We also had many of the committee from DQ, Public Works, other regulatory authorities. They were online. It looked at quite a lot of things, and the IWCM is being done in conjunction with another project called the Water Security Act or Review. So a lot of this information will move into that project as well. So sort of crossing both of those projects. It looked at things like the future of our existing bores and they had a sufficient yield to carry us through for the next 30 years. All of our existing bores past that at this stage. It creates a small problem in regards to the Ellengerard bore because the powers that be are saying Bore Flat bore has a 700 megalitre annual allocation, and that's significantly more than the town needs. We average a little under 300 meg of water a year that we use. Just as bore water, there's an additional about 300 to 400 meg river water that's used as well. So, 200 to 300 meg of river water that's used as well. But just regarding the bore water use, they're saying that we don't need the bore at Ellengerard because Bore Flat has a sufficient yield for the foreseeable future to maintain the town based on the fact that we're not expanding population-wise. We have always argued that whilst we agree that there's sufficient yield and at that bore, if something were to happen to that bore, we don't have a secondary supply. It just seems to miss the target with them. Every time we've raised that argument, we have more paperwork that's been put together to go back to them regarding that particular point to try and get that bore as our backup. It was good to see that Nevertire and Collie bores were both well and truly sustainable for the future. There was a little bit of a discussion about the water quality, but there's been no recommendations as far as whether we try to get funding for water treatment. We meet the requirements here in Warren and Nevertire for bore water, potable water. There's about 28 items that the New South Wales Public Health need us to meet. We meet 27 of them. The only one we miss is high sodium, which is about the 280 milligrams. And the limit, well, not the limit, but the preferred level is 180. So treating that to remove that is a big process, which creates a whole lot of other issues that we would have to deal with. Where does the brine go? All of those sorts of things. We also had a look at the sewer system and whether it was sustainable, both The new plant, obviously, the new plant's designed to maintain us for a long time to come, and they also had some brief calculations based on water consumption for our sewage pumping station. So we haven't got the final report from that yet. As soon as it's given to us, that will be released for people to have a read of, and we'll be able to explain it in some more detail. That project has to be finished by December of this year. The funding runs out from DQ, so we need to get it continued and moving. That funding, it's up to $600,000 project. We've committed about a little over $300,000 at the moment. Council is only responsible for 10% of those funding. So this kicked off quite some time ago, I think, in 2024. So it's a slow process, and the water security project, it will run until December of next year, and it's a potential $1.12 million project, and again, council funding only 10% of that. But there's a number of items in both projects that we won't be taking up as alternatives for them to look at. That covers most of it.
Thank you for all of that information on the Scott Town Services Management. Councillor McKay.
Through you, thank you, Matt. So just a question on the Ellengerard Wall. So they had a problem. Was their main issue with the fact that we have a surplus licence? Because I'm assuming if we're not using the full allocation up here at Ball Flat, that we're not having pumping down there. So is that the issue, that they just want to get rid of the extra licence, or are they worried about, well, they can't be worried about extra usage because we have sufficient licence? And just a second question on what's our riparian licence amount for the town?
Thank you.
That's really nice, Chair. The problem is that when the new bores were constructed, 2016, 17, somewhere around that, I think, Councillor McCloskey, was when they were done. They were done before my time, unfortunately. But during the drought, the state government provided the full funding to construct 4 additional bores for us as backup supply. They didn't license any of them. They got work approvals, so construction licenses, built everything, but didn't go the next step of providing a water access license. Part of the metering project that we had to go through in 22, we started that process. You have to have a water access license to validate what they call the LID, which is the device that transmits the information back to Water New South Wales about the water usage. If you don't have a license, you can't validate. When we got to Ellengerard, we went to go through that process. There was no license available. The others all had existing licenses that we could attach to, and so that was all sorted out. The old bore at Ellengerard had a licence that Water New South Wales cancelled back in 2016, it appears.
Without our knowledge.
For some reason, without our knowledge. And I've been trying now for the best part of 4 years to get a new licence. We've applied for a new licence, but they keep coming back and saying, you don't need it, Ball Flat is sufficient. So it's on a different aquifer.
And they can't, so they have to give us a licence because it's on a different aquifer.
So, and that's the other issue. If it was on the same aquifer as Ball Flat, we would get just an additional extraction point off that 700 megalitres. So our bore licence for town here in Warren is 700 megalitres a year. We have 40 meg for Nevertire, and an extraction point off the 700 out at Collie of 25. So we have plenty here. We have applied for a 200 meg limit at Ellengerard.
We're not giving it up without a fight.
Yes.
Never give up any license.
So, and the answer to your other question is the river allocation we have is, our main allocation is 750 megalitres a year, and then we have a number of other littler allocations that equate to about 280 megalitres as well.
188.
Yeah, 188 for for the showground. I think it's 20 or 30 for Macquarie Park. There's another one. We've got an allocation for water extraction out of Ewanmar. There's no equipment out there, but we have a small amount out there as well.
Again, Councillor Spencer. Anything further? The Water and Sewerage Committee, it's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Reports of delegates, the first of which being the ordinary meeting of the Castle Macquarie County Council held on Monday, 22nd of June. You, Councillor Houston, and somebody to second, if I may. Councillor McCloskey. Thank you, Councillor Houston.
Noel and I headed over to the meeting. Not much happened at this one. A couple of things to note was there's going to be flyers prepared for the Shire that will be specific to the Shire of noxious weeds and how to control them, and that will be a letter box drop soonish. Our new weeds officer based in Warren is being very well received by growers, and I've seen it driving around a bit, and along with the senior biosecurity officers been in town addressing a few problems. So I think it's just ticking along pretty well. Nothing much to report.
Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 2 is a communique from the roads. Sorry, I'm just looking up at so the heading is right, yes. So communique from the Roads Transport and Disaster Recovery Forum of the Country Land Association. Held on Wednesday 1st and Thursday 2nd of July. I would be happy to move that if I could have somebody to second. Councillor McKay, thank you. I wasn't in attendance, so we might ask the General Manager to comment, please.
So, Madam Deputy Mayor, the main thing that came out, of course, is the real concern about disaster relief that the government wants to change. Normal process is actually 75%, 25% state. With councils providing some relevant to their amount of general rates they pay per year for a flood damage program. The main change is so Commonwealth wants to go from $240,000 to a $2.7 million disaster amount for a local government area. That would mean that most of the time we would actually miss out on any flood damage whatsoever. And that will need to be reported back to both state, who are a bit far about it, I thought, and to the Commonwealth, that we think that that's a disaster for every community in Australia. Yeah, and we all, the Mayor and I were able to also take up with both the new RA Chief Executive Officer and the Minister again our money that we think that's owed for our emergency levy pump of November 21 and September 22. We're not going to give up on that 695,000 that's owed to us, plus Shire Road 23 Gradually Lane Causeways as well. We decided that this communique was a really good document to show as a delegates report. Had the Minister for Roads and Regional Transport and Roads. She's under pretty reasonable amount of pressure with highway, Travis and highway. They've gone and done something. That will still probably take another 12 months. The real concern is this disaster framework that the Commonwealth wants to change, and one of the things that we'll talk today when we go and visit the CEO of the local company Sylvaus is to make sure that they do a very serious submission on behalf of all of us to say, don't allow this to happen because it's a problem. 3 days away, but still worth it just to be able to ask questions of ministers, two pretty important ministers for us, Minister for Roads and Minister for Recovery. Good meeting.
Thank you, General Manager. Anything further on this item? Thank you. That's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. So, reports to Council. One item of policy being the drone remotely piloted aircraft use policy. Could I have a move and second? Councillor Kelly, thank you. Councillor Cleasby. Councillor Kelly.
Simply the information we received and the recommendations ultimately be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Discussions or questions on this policy? Thank you, Councillor McCluskey.
One question. Do we use drones in any way, shape or form?
We definitely do. We've got our own. Yes,
Thank you.
we've had it for about 3 years now, and provides a little bit of asset management work, but at the moment a fair amount of marketing and communication type work. And we've got I think 4 people trained.
I'm going to say, do we have someone licensed?
We have a chief pilot. That's what we have to have. Some good work happening, and this is where it's come from because in the end, other people want to use our properties and they need to be following the rules.
So, just reading the policy through the chair.
Thank you.
Through the chair, sorry. This applies to all drones because there's a weight limit mentioned here of 2 kilos in terms of the operation of drones for specific purposes. So someone with a recreational drone that's only a toy, say for instance, still needs to abide by this policy.
Yes. To my knowledge, yes.
I believe it's on council.
Yeah, so if Joe Blow decides to take his drone to Victoria Oval and fly it, this will apply.
The drone of any size on council. Thank you, Councillor McKay.
Through you, Acting Mayor. So the regulation of drones on agricultural land, by CASA, but there is no. This policy wouldn't apply for any agricultural use of drones. So it's really just the use of drones on or near council land, and obviously within the vicinity of the airport as well.
And the flight path, yes.
Thank you. Anything further? This has been moved. All in favour? Carried. Reports of the General Manager. Item 1, outstanding reports checklist. Something to move and second. Councillor McCluskey. Councillor Jackson, thank you. Councillor McCluskey.
No, move the report as listed.
Any discussion? Solicitation?
Madam Deputy Mayor, just because page 2, the Drought Disease Plan project is complete. And onto page 3, Smart Australia has been formally notified that their MOA has been extended in the next 12 months, and during that 12 months there'll be more talk at officer level about the future. On page 7, the new supply arrangement that came from the local trades commercial services extension to 2028 has been noted. We're still working on finalising the internal memorandum that everyone gets from the Mayor and General Manager in relation to that. It's actually on our, everyone's listed currently on our contracts register. The Warren Daycare, we've started to progress finalisation of the help that we're giving the Warren Daycare Inc. On to page 9, is really a tidy up of of the operational plan and estimates, including the plant funding. The final little bit, they promised me that it's finished Tuesday on page 14, which is the excavator main in and working.
Thank you, General Manager. So those were the items marked within asterisks to be removed from the text. Is there any further discussion on this item? Thank you. That's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. Carried. Yes, General Manager's quite right. In recognition of Warren being a healthy town and to keep awareness of a healthy lifestyle, Council will be standing while dealing with item 2 of the General Manager's report. So this being the committee and delegate meetings, could I have somebody to move and second? Councillor Jackson, thank you. Councillor Clearsby, thank you. Councillor Jackson.
I move that the information be received and noted, but I would like to add a meeting to the item, future meetings not on meeting schedule. That's the 27th of July. There is an Outback Arts Board meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. The only other item, or the other meeting that I was going to mention is a meeting today, which has only recently been organised with the Local Government New South Wales CEO, David Reynolds, which I believe is at 12 today, General Manager, is that correct? Yes. So that's been a very last minute meeting that's been organised, and I'm not sure if there's opportunity for other councillors to join us at that perhaps, if available. Yes, maybe. Yes. So that's only recently been organised, and we will confirm the time to any councillors who may wish to join us at that. But it's around lunchtime, midday, I believe. I'm not sure what that's going to entail, but a bit of an informal discussion. He's passing through and made time to have a brief meeting with us. So if any councillors are available at midday and wish to join, that would be great. Anything further on the committee or delegates meetings? Thank you. That's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. You may be seated. Item 3 of the report for the General Manager, Works Progress Reports, Infrastructure Projects. Somebody to move. Councillor McCaig, thank you. Councillor Houston. Councillor McCaig.
That information will be received and noted.
Any discussion on this item? Councillor Houston, thank you.
There, on the bottom of page 20, it says we're successful in training for AI for the staff. Is there anything else going to be looked at in that space to happen?
Except, I didn't have pilot training. Is that what AI? Is that the special name for AI? Co-pilot training. Yeah.
It's just Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a Microsoft one. It's been spread out for anyone who consider it. That was actually just trying to get a grant to pay for it, and interested people have been asked if they're
So there will be some AI training for staff.
Within reason. They've been asked if they want to participate. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything further?
And that's why we were successful with one above. It's very important. Our internal auditor and external auditor are very keen on making sure that we dot the i's across the t's with procurement, fraud, and prevention.
Just one more through you, Madam Chair. On page 19, the EV charging barrier for Never Tire, it says that we might find the outcomes out at the end of July. Any update on that? Thank you.
Nothing further. That's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Reports of the Divisional Manager Finance Administration. Item 1, Reconciliation Certificate for June. Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor McCloskey. Councillor Kelly.
The basic recommendation that the statement of bank and investment balances be received and noted.
Any further comments or discussion on item 1?
With that,
Yes. Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Item 2, statement of rates and annual charges. Councillor Houston, thank you. Councillor Crisby. Councillor Houston.
I move that the statement of rates and annual charges be accepted. The recommendation be received and noted.
All appears to be in order. Anything further on the side?
percentage-wise, I think the summary of it is it's a bit better than the percentage because some of it's unallocated. Is it correct? It's about 240,000. A bit better than the percentage-wise. Probably, does that kind of get you close to the 5% or 4.5% or something?
Thank you, through the chair. I think being something to monitor regularly, it's not lost to me that it looks like year on year, the past couple of years at least, there has been some small increase in the outstanding percentage. So it is something we need to address into the future. To me, it looks as though it's potentially water billing that might sort of pick up a bit. So we do have some things that we need to address and bring that figure down. Whether we get recovery or flow restrictions for water consumption.
Anything further? That's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Item 3, Works Progress Reports, Finance Administration Projects. Councillor Kelly, thank you. Councillor Watts. Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
The information be received and noted.
That's a pretty simple report, but are there any questions or further discussion?
No,
Thank you.
Chair.
Mr. Manager.
Updates on the records management system that is in train. I mentioned at the last meeting verbally. Unfortunately, there has been personal circumstance that's impacted the supplier recently. However, it's only going to push us out in the live date at the end of August, I think it was scheduled for, end of August. So we're within 2 weeks of that initial timeline at this stage. And currently working through, I've seen it in the past week, the live test, the test environment. So that's all we can do.
Thank you for that update, Mr. Manager. Anything further? Councillors? Moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 4, Librarians Operational Performance Report. Councillor Jackson, thank you. Councillor Jackson.
I move that the information be received and noted, and we just add that it really is a fabulous facility, isn't it?
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Yes, it's always a highlight to see this report. Thank you, Regional Manager.
Yeah, through the chair. Second that. It's okay. As an update, I think in the last 12 months, particularly, Erica and her team have come a long way in delivering services for the library. So definitely warrants that recognition. I think the quality of the events that have occurred, also the relationship with other constituent councils from the Northwest Library Initiative. It's been fantastic. We've had a lot more buy-in and successful outcomes with that in the past 12 months, particularly since Erica's involvement and efforts made in that space. I hear positive things all the time from the community, as well as staff at the library. So, yeah, very good thing for one.
Thank you very much. Anything further on that report? It's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried.
The Divisional Manager Engineering Services has had to be away for the last couple of days due to a family matter he's having to attend to, and that's the reason why the Town Services Manager and the Roads Infrastructure Manager have been present. Two guys on the coalface, ready to answer questions.
Thank you, General Manager.
Be nice to the Roads Infrastructure Manager, please.
So the first, and the Town Services Manager.
Oh, he's used to always.
Thank you. So item 1, the works progress reports for roads. The council to move. And second, Councillor Mackay, Councillor Cleasby, Councillor Mackay.
We put the information to be received and made.
Any further discussion or questions? Councillor McCloskey?
Through the chair, just with respect to the flood restoration, when is the final completion date for that, given we've got some ongoing
9
works?
months from the 1st of July.
9 months.
2 years plus then another 9 months.
So we've still got time up our sleeve.
Yeah.
Thank you, General Manager. Any further discussion on item 1? So it's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Item 2, works, perhaps that could be taken offline, Councillor McCloskey. Item 2, works progress reports, town services. Sorry, that's probably allowing enough time for that. Councillor Kelly. And seconded, Councillor Cleasby. Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
Basically, the information we received and noted.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? I'll allow a bit of time. Councillor McCloskey.
Good, Madam Deputy Chair, good serious budget for the replacement of that damaged toilet building at Noel Waters Oval. And there's more than what's just been committed at the moment. There's works around it with it.
Thank you.
And most of the money that is still to be expended, hopefully will be able to be funded in a carryover. We're still trying to work that out. You'll notice some difference in some of the areas that you need to be able to have the money to be able to carry it over to.
Thank you very much. Anything further on item 2? Councillor McCloskey is okay? Moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 3, works progress reports for plant. Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Cleasby. Councillor Kelly.
And basically the recommendation of the information be received and noted.
Appreciated.
Would have been busy.
Discussion on item 3. Councillor McCluskey.
Just one, I think I read the excavator at the tip. It's going now, is it? Did I?
Well, they promised me it's going to be done by Tuesday.
I read earlier in the thing it said it's operational, but then in the plant report here it says it just said but the excavator not in use at the moment. That's all.
It's a week old, don't forget.
Yeah, we haven't.
Thank you.
Depends which excavator too.
Sorry.
Was it talking to about the large one or the small one?
No. Well, the one here in the plant report is the Gabelco,
Yeah.
which is the blue one at the tip.
Okay.
6 hours work a week or so ago to get things right, ready for the engine.
Thank you. Councillor Watts, Councillor Watts, did you have?
I also read that somewhere that the excavator report go in the order.
Anything more on item 3? Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Carried. Report of the Manager Health and Development Services. We have item 1, the development application approvals. Moved, Councillor McKay, thank you. And second, Councillor Wass, thank you. Councillor McKay.
Move that information be received and noted.
Thank you, Councillor Houston. Yes.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, page 3. I'm just wondering where we're up to with our youth support worker. Previously in the account, in the report about them having a medical, is the person.
Thank
That's your
you.
point.
Thank you, Councillor Houston. It sounds like you might want to move the next item.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we'll get to that. So item 1 has been moved and seconded. If we're all in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 2, Works Progress Report, Health and Development Services, moved by Councillor Houston, seconded Councillor McKay. Thank you. Councillor Houston.
I move that the information be received and noted.
The answer to the question we're just about to appoint.
Thank you, General Manager, which is very exciting news.
On item 1, person, can I ask or not?
All right, I missed that question. Councillor
The question was the youth worker that we're going to appoint. It seems to be ongoing for a while. I was just wondering if they have been appointed and if so, who it was.
So this is the part-time position funded by the Community and Family Support Program. So yes, very good. Thank you. Any further questions or discussion on item 2? Councillor McKay.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. Just a question on the solid about UMR Waste Depot. Just is that just powering the container out there?
Yeah.
That's the sole purpose of that?
Yeah.
So is that slightly over-engineered or not?
Oh, it will be, but I mean, there's an air conditioner, lights,
Water.
yeah,
Thank you, Councillor.
Okay.
yeah, but also probably future at the moment, I think the CCTV cameras are sold as well.
Anything further on item 2? Moved and seconded. We're all in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 3, being section 7.12, the contributions plan. Come to move and second. Some discussion on this perhaps. Somebody to move, please. Councillor McCluskey, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Kelly. Councillor McCluskey.
No, I moved it, did I? Through the chair.
Thank you, Councillor McCluskey.
I'll move the recommendation as listed. Yeah, no,
Thank you.
totally agree.
Thank you. We might ask the general manager to comment a little bit on this item. So it is a new thing for Warranshire Council. Thank you.
Certainly something new. At senior management team level and mayor, deputy mayor, we've had a number of discussions because for the last 3 or 4 years we've had some fairly major developments come into Warranshire, and solar farms and batteries with them, and it worth anywhere between $5 and $6.5 million. The last one that was just approved, we missed out on a $55,000 development contribution because we don't have a contributions plan. At the same time, where you have a look at the list in that, we can come up with $83 million worth of works that we'd like to do, and that's not all of them. Had to prioritise as well. What we've made sure is someone who doesn't need to contribute are very small ones, which there's a limit anyway. If you want to build a new home on a vacant block, you don't need to contribute. If you want to do a subdivision of your land, you don't need to contribute. But you go and build a duplex or a second house on your property, a major development over certain dollars. The idea is there is a contribution that goes to the infrastructure and services that your development and the users of your development are going to use. Could it be anywhere worth to our projects 60 to 120,000, 200, total 200,000 a year? That's only an estimate. Depends on how many you get per year of the major, moderate to major development. It's time.
Thank you, General Manager. Thoughts, discussion? Councillor McKay?
So how does this contribution plan compare to neighbouring councils? Firstly, secondly, the list that was at the back of this is pretty much all council work anyway. So I'm assuming the council doesn't pay the contribution on work. They don't like it.
So what happens with a few more rules is that developer contributions are collected and go to a register, and at the appropriate time, the system, the council picks the type of project because it might get a grant to help, it might have its own infrastructure money to help, plus this to help to get a project done. It's just more income to help us, and a list that is a work schedule that says here we have all these projects that are worthy of contribution to, and whatever way possible, we try to fund those projects, using some of the contribution funds.
Yeah,
Councillor McKay?
not quite sure that answered. So, first question, neighbouring councils.
Ours is much more extensive because we sat down and we've actually always had lists of potential projects, infrastructure and services wise. Most councils have very similar lists, but ours is much more extensive because we've done some work on it between all our committees and all our managers.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. My question is, if a developer comes to Wyong and wants to spend $5 million, $50,000, if they went to Nyngan, how much would they be up for?
If they've got a contribution plan, it would be very, very similar.
Do we know whether our neighbouring councils have contribution?
I know Narromine has.
Narromine has.
Narromine has, and I believe Gilgandra would. I don't know about Bogan.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get an understanding of how we compare with the neighbouring councils. So do we know what an outlines is?
Very similar.
Very similar. Okay. And so, and just perhaps on the extensive list on the back here. So, is what you're saying that let's just say that with the electricity supply upgrade for the sporting centre is 440 grand. If we were to get a grant for that, are we saying that 1%, we would add 1% to the grant, or
No. So for example, a new solar farm comes in and it's a $5.5 million development. 1% of 5.5 is the developer's contribution to our to us, and it's collected up in like very much like our infrastructure reserve, but it's in the contributions reserve to be used by us on projects that are contained within our work schedule.
no? I completely understand.
Councillor McCann, I think I had the same slight confusion with this table, but my understanding is that this list is a list of priorities which we would direct money collected through the contribution plan towards.
Okay, sorry, no, that clears it up. I
that what you
just
mean?
wasn't quite sure why it was attached to the paper, but if what you're saying is any contributions that we receive from development would go towards implementing this list. I agree.
Yes, thank you. So these wouldn't attract the contribution plan 1% or
Understood.
thank you. I did have to work that out as well. Thank you, Councillor Jackson.
Sorry, and excuse me, Madam Deputy Mayor, if I've missed something, which I could have. The priorities on this list, obviously very heavy to our own precinct. Is there a reason why footpaths are a medium priority? Is that something members of the public?
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. General Manager.
The engineering and technical professionals and committees over the years have attempted to develop lists that are high, medium and low. That's just how it's come out over the years.
Sorry, Councillor Jackson, which page? Because I can see I'm looking at the Warren Town footpath priority on the first page.
Yes, sorry, there's a Ravenswood footpath on page 26. And I just wondered about the reasons that Ravenswood footpaths are medium. Warren does not, and there's a very heavy weighting on the over precinct or priority.
Thank you.
Because the committees, what happened was many years ago, 2016, there was a footpaths and cycleways program developed, a different type of name, say footpaths, and that would have had a list of what the low, medium and high priorities were. A usage helps with that. Victoria Precinct has been mooted over the time for some fairly serious grant funds from others, and we're starting to see that come through with that smaller grant that we've got. And that's one of the reasons why it's been slightly higher in priority. There is a reasonable amount of work still to do at Victoria Park Sports Precinct compared to the $8 million that we've spent over at Carter Oval Sports Precinct. Still some more work to do, and it's probably slightly higher priority.
Thank you, Councillor Ross.
I'm just, Deputy Mayor, through you to the General Manager, I'm just curious as to what other developments on private property, rural property, this might apply to. For example, it would apply to something like a feedlot, which would require council consent, I take it.
Yes.
But if somebody wanted to put up a silo storage complex,
Yes.
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 A large shed on a rural property,
Yes. Yeah, it's a development.
An irrigation development that, you know, somebody put on a rural
They
property. I
need
don't
a
believe that
development.
comes under council, does it?
No, in Warrenshire, the LEP doesn't require something like that to have a development consent. So no,
Okay.
Narromine does, but Warrenshire doesn't.
Thank you.
And-
Anything?
Yeah,
Sorry.
and Madam
Chairman,
Deputy,
yes?
it's very important because it's a planning matter. There has to actually be a division, automatic division.
Yes. Thank you for that, John Manager. So just to clarify, so we are moving that this plan be put on exhibition for 28 days. So there is time for submissions. Anything further to come to us for show of hands? Thank you. So we do need to have a show of hands. Sorry, yes. That's everyone. Thank you. Against? No hands. Thank you. Okay, so that's been finalised. So all in favour? Carried. Thank you, councillors. So we have no notices of motion or questions with the notice today. No confidential matters. So I will close the meeting and say thank you, councillors and staff again for your attendance today. Meeting closed.